A regional effort is taking place right now in Afghanistan to help people desperate to leave the country.
And President Biden, who has been criticized for his response to the crisis, made his first public comments about that this afternoon.
13th District Congressman Ronny Jackson is joining us now live from Amarillo to discuss the president's response.
Congressman Jackson, thanks so much for joining us this evening. So what are your thoughts on the major new developments that have transpired over the past 24 hours?
Well, I think it's sad and tragic to watch this happen. The Biden administration apparently had no contingency in place for what I would say is probably the most likely outcome based on the way we pulled out of this. So I just wish it hadn't come to this, and I wish the Biden administration had planned more appropriately for this outcome. And I think there's going to be a lot of really bad things that are going to happen in Afghanistan over the next few days, and a lot of innocent people are going to lose their lives.
Okay, now after spending 20 years and $978 billion to help Afghanistan, what should the next move be for the United States?
Well, unfortunately, I think our moves are pretty limited at this particular point. I mean, we pulled out now completely, and the entire country has collapsed, and the Taliban's in control of everything now. So we're back to ground zero. I think it would have made a lot more sense if we had maybe kept the Bagram Air Base intact for a while and kind of slow rolled our pullout and got people out over the next few months so that we could have done it safely. And but that ship sailed, in my opinion, right now.
So now, what are your thoughts on the U.S. housing thousands of Afghan refugees on military bases, including right here in Texas at Fort Bliss?
Well, you know, I think a lot of these people, they sacrificed a lot for our country. They were our interpreters, and they helped us over there for 20 years, for 2 decades. They helped us keep the United States, keep our homeland safe. And we couldn't have done it over there without them. So I'm not opposed to bringing some of those people that were real patriots and real assets to our country here. The challenge is going to be to screen them appropriately, and we need to make sure that's done properly. And that's another thing the Biden administration didn't do, is they have these special immigration visas that they should have been expediting. They should have had third-party countries picked out where we could get these people safely out of Afghanistan, and we could screen them and get them over here and make sure that we're getting the right people here and we don't get anybody that we don't want here.
Before we switch gears, Congressman Jackson, I just wanted to ask you what your reaction was when you saw the footage today of all of the Afghanistan people around the planes on the tarmac, and then people falling from the planes as the planes were taking off.
Well, I just thought it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how unprepared we were. I mean, how can we not secure an airport? I mean, those were U.S. military transport planes on the tarmac with hundreds and hundreds of people surrounding them, people hanging off the aircraft. People are actually hanging on to the aircraft all the way until it got in the air and then fall into their deaths. I just don't see how we as the United States could let that happen. That is a really bad sign, and sends a really bad message to our adversaries and to our allies that we can't control the environment better than that, and that we're going to let something like that happen essentially in an area that we supposedly control.
Okay, Congressman, thanks. Now, to switch gears here a little bit, talk about COVID. The governor banned mask mandates in the state, but some cities and school districts are going against that. What do you say to Texans who are seeing this kind of back and forth between the state and local levels?
I say that I still think that masking as well as vaccination is a personal choice at this particular point. The large majority of the eligible adults in this country have been vaccinated. A huge number of people that haven't been vaccinated have already had the disease, and they have natural immunity. We're already at a situation where we probably have herd immunity. The Delta virus is obviously a little bit more infectious than the previous strain of the virus, but it's also less deadly and less virulent. And I think that people have to make their choice. They have to make their own choice. And I hope that the government backs down and lets people decide on their own whether or not they want to get vaccinated, whether or not they want to wear a mask.
Okay, Congressman Jackson, thank you so much for your time this evening.